Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about this, the DJI Osmo Mobile 6 Gimbal. So let's get into it. So this gimbal has been out for about a year now, and I've had it for about 3 or 4 months, and I've been using it, testing it, seeing what it's like in everyday use across a wide variety of uses, so I can show you how good or how bad it is, everything that's good about it, and a few little niggles I have with it as well, and then to ultimately tell you whether you should get this or not. So let's start first of all with the unboxing. So when you get your DJI Osmo Mobile 6 Gimbal, you will start off with a box of this size, and you can start off by opening all that lovely cellophane packaging around the box to make you feel like you're really opening that amazing little present. Then you've got the tabs on the side. There's one at the top, and you just rip that off, and then you just clip it open like that. And then you get this lovely little signature inside that says unfold your creativity, with a little diagram of how to actually use the gimbal and a QR code to scan to get the app installed. So you get this box on top first of all, so you open up that, and inside that you start off with the Osmo pouch to put your gimbal in and all of your accessories, as well as some paperwork on how the gimbal works. It's quite a nice pouch. It's got like a little suede feel. It does feel quite premium. You also get a USB-A to USB-C cable, and then the gimbal itself, which you have to rip open this packaging. I've tried to open it delicately, but you just can't really do it. So this is the gimbal itself. As you can see, it's quite compact. It's got the USB-C cable, charging cable on the side to charge up your gimbal, and it's got the power button, which is also the mode button, on top, as well as a record button, which is obviously the red one. Then it's got a little swivel on the side which controls zoom, and it also controls your focus if you want a manual focus, and then the directional gimbal at the front to show you how to navigate around the screen. You've then got this little clip which clips onto your phone, and that is the magnetic thing at the back with the DJI logo. It looks quite nice. That goes onto the back of your phone and then clips onto the gimbal. And then on top of that, you also get this little leg stand here to screw into the bottom of the gimbal, so you can use it as a little selfie stand, so you can record yourself or record somebody else. You also get these little stickers. I think they're foot pad rests. That's what come with it. So basically, that's everything in the box. So you get the little set of feet right there, which screws into the bottom of the gimbal itself. You get the clip, which clips onto the back of your phone, the magnetic clip, USB-C to USB-A cable, and the pouch. And that completes what's in the box. Okay, so let's just have a quick look around this gimbal. So first of all, it's quite compact. Okay, it feels quite light. It feels premium. It feels like it's been made with good materials. It doesn't feel cheap or nasty at all. It feels really good to hold. So it's got a few buttons on it, so I'm just going to go over them with you. So first of all, you've got the record button. That obviously does what it says in the tin. It records your footage on your gimbal. So you can use that to take a photo. You can use it to take to start and stop video recordings. That's basically what that's for. And if you hold it, it will take burst photos if you're in photo mode. Then you've got the M button at the front, and that M button is basically your power button, which turns it on, and then at the same time it cycles through the modes. So it has FPV mode, it has spin shot mode, has a few other little modes you can play with, and they're quite good to play around with, really. It also extends, so it extends out, and then you can have it as a selfie stick, and then you can just push it back in like that. So it folds down to be quite compact, but it does extend out as well. And then obviously you've got these feet, which you can just screw in the bottom right here, and then very easy to screw in. And once you've done that, you've got an extra bit of length there. So like I said, also you've got these dials on the front, and these dials, basically, the one at the front is like a joystick that aims around your shot. So if you've got the camera tracking someone and you don't think they're in the middle of the frame, you can move that around to sort of focus them where you want them to. This one on the side, if you tap it, press it in, it switches between focus mode and zoom mode. So you can let the phone do the focusing for you, or you can use this dial to zoom in to adjust your focus. And then if you hold it in, it switches to zoom mode. It will tell you on the screen that it switched to zoom mode, and then you just twist it in and out for zoom. And then you've got this other little button at the bottom, which switches between vertical mode and landscape mode. You've also got this little trigger at the back, which you can use, and that does certain functions within the app. The first thing you need to do, bearing in mind this is a gimbal designed for mobile phones, so the first thing you need to do is you need to install the DJI Mimo app. That is what enables this to run properly. So this gimbal is made for people on the move. It is made for if you're out vlogging, and also it's made for stabilization. So the iPhones, the Samsungs, the Pixels, all the main competitors for phones nowadays all have excellent stabilization built into the phone, but they're not perfect. For example, on the iPhone 15 Pro and last year the iPhone 14 lineup, it had active stabilization, but then it downsized the footage to 2.7K. So you lost a lot of that quality to change over to get the stabilization. Whereas with this, you don't need that. You can keep recording in 4K in 30 frames per second, and you can have it on this gimbal, and the stabilization is excellent. So let's talk about the tracking a little bit. Okay, so this is a test of the DJI Osmo Mobile 6 with the iPhone 15 Pro. So I've got my iPhone 15 Pro attached to the DJI Osmo Mobile 6 gimbal right now, and it is on the selfie camera mode with recording in 4K 60 frames per second. No? 4K 30 frames per second. So this is just a guide of what the selfie camera is like on the iPhone 15 Pro. The audio is not coming out of the iPhone. It's quite echoey in my kitchen. The audio is coming from my lav mic that I've got here. If you want to know what the audio sounds like on the iPhone 15 Pro, then it sounds like this. So now this is the audio coming directly from the iPhone 15 Pro. You've got the selfie camera and the audio coming directly from the iPhone 15 Pro. 4K, 30 frames per second, selfie camera, and the audio direct from the iPhone 15 Pro. So this is what it sounds like, this is what it looks like. So you can see yourself, you can see what you're doing, and it's attached to the Osmo Mobile 6 gimbal in my kitchen. A little bit echoey in here, but it's not sound treated in this room, so it's a little bit echoey. But this is just to give you an idea of what it's like and what the quality is like. So as you can see, it's not bad quality. It's recording in 4K, it's okay. The gimbal is in active tracking mode, so it's tracking my face wherever I move around. So as long as you don't move too quick and you move reasonably slowly and you don't jump in and out of frame, it does track you pretty well. Now let's switch back to the audio on my mic, just so you can get a better quality audio. Right, so now you're listening back to the audio on my lav mic. Film is still coming from the iPhone 15 Pro attached to the gimbal. So this gimbal is stretched out and it is on the stand that comes with it. The little feet stand that you screw into the bottom is attached to that, and it is standing on my kitchen island filming me right now, and it is recording 4K 30 frames per second like I said. So what do I think? It's pretty good at tracking you. The only thing is it does get a little bit temperamental. As you move around, it's quite good it follows me around. It follows me at a 360-degree range, so if I walk around the kitchen, it will just continue to track me. This is just if you wanted it in tracking mode for following yourself. So but the funny thing is, right, if I walk out of the room, it will track me as I walk out of the room and go out of frame, and it will stay there waiting for me to come back. And then as I come back in, it should pick me back up instantly, and there you go. It's tracking me again. I keep walking into the bin, but there we go. So it's pretty good. It does track you pretty well. This is just an example of what it's like at tracking you. I'm filming this completely by myself. There's nobody else here. It is just me filming this on a stand with the tracking mode activated. So what happens if you get in the way? So if I block my face, does it lose me? It picks you up. It's the same sort of thing as if you walk out of the room. It does pick you up. So if you put something in front of your face and then back again, it does pick you up pretty quickly. The only issue with it is if you quickly move out of frame, it does struggle to find you again. So if I just quickly drop out of frame right now, it should struggle to pick me up. Now if I walk back into frame, does it pick me up pretty well? Yeah, it does. If I come in frame from a different way, a different angle, so if I quickly dart out to the right, and then I appear from this side, it picks you up again. It is pretty good. If you move really, really quick, it does struggle. But to be honest, it's really good at tracking you. You can test this obviously to the limits, but realistically, how often are you going to be jumping around, bouncing around, trying to trick the camera and the gimbal into not picking you up? The active track on this is pretty good. I can't really fault it. For most people, it's pretty excellent. It's sort of up there with the high quality tracking systems. Let me know in the comments, have any of you got this gimbal and you've tested this? Because I want to know what your thoughts are on the tracking system, just if you're filming yourself, because I think actually it's pretty good. But I tell you what, let's test this outside and let's see how good it is at tracking the dogs when they're running. Okay, so we know it's not bad at tracking people when you're on your own walking around a room, but what's it like for tracking animals in fast-paced environments? So I tested this with the dogs. And as you can see from running around with the dogs, it is quite good at keeping them in focus, at keeping them tracked, at keeping them in the center of the frame. It is really good at that, and the stabilization is flawless. You wouldn't know that you're running at full pelt. I was literally running full speed to try and keep up with my dogs, and this thing is smooth as butter. It's so good. The only issue with it, I found sometimes it does gets a bit confused. It spins around a little bit. It switches between vertical and landscape mode without you asking it to. And sometimes it completely loses the subject and then it just can't pick them back up. So the way to pick up your subject, if you want to track somebody, is all you do is hold down on the screen on your phone in the Mimo app and draw a little square around someone's face or a dog's face, and then it will actively track them and it will keep them in focus and keep them the center of the frame. The issue with it, I found, is that sometimes it's slightly temperamental with keeping up with fast moving animals or people or objects. It does lose focus and lose tracking of that person, and then it does struggle to pick them back up again. That's the thing I found with it, but overall it is really good and you can get some brilliant shots out of this. So this is me holding the gimbal in selfie mode. I've got my iPhone 15 Pro attached to it. It's in selfie mode, and I've drawn the active track around my face, so it should track my face wherever I put it around the room. It is good. It is very, very accurate. The only thing I will find is that it gets a little bit temperamental when you start putting it like at a bit of an angle, and then it just struggles a little bit to pick you up. But it is good. I mean, it doesn't always keep you in the center of the frame. That's the only thing I find. Like, I'm turning it upside down now, and you can see it's tracking me, but my face is now at the top of the screen. Now, if you move it around the room, it does actually track you really, really well. So it does track you really good. That is one thing I will say. So if you're out and about and you want a good selfie stick and a good selfie camera, obviously you can control it via the gimbal. It's got buttons for the zoom and the autofocus. You can tilt it as you want. So you can tilt it into the focus you want. So it will track your face, but you can kind of tilt it around. That's me using the directionals there to tilt it around just to get an idea of where I want it to be. So if I, for example, put it down here and it's like that, you can then tilt it, but it won't tilt any further. That's the problem. Maybe that's the issue with it. If you want it for that while you're out and about, bearing in mind the stabilization is going to be flawless on it. Stabilization on phones is always really, really good. Is on the latest phone, Samsung, iPhone, the stabilization is brilliant. But with this, you don't have to sacrifice any quality, because obviously with the iPhone 15 Pro and 14 Pro, you have the new action mode where you can record with super excellent stabilization, but you sacrifice the quality as it bins it back down to 2.7K, I think it is. Whereas with this, you can keep it recording at 4K and your stabilization is always going to be on point. And you've also got that active track. So wherever you're moving around, it's always going to keep your face in the frame. It's always going to track you. It is pretty good. I mean, don't be wrong. It is sometimes a little bit temperamental if you're moving a bit too quick or you take yourself out of frame. But generally, it's not too bad. It's pretty good for what you're getting. The AI in this is really, really excellent. Now, the battery will basically be solid green if you have full battery, essentially. If it's yellow, it means you have between 20 and 40%. If it's red, it means you have less than 20%. And if it's flashing red, it means you have less than 5% battery. I found when I unboxed this and tested it to begin with, it was on red and then it went down to flashing red, which means less than 5%. I then plugged it in USB-C and charged it, and within an hour it was pretty much fully charged. So it is really good with charging speeds. What do I think of this overall? It sits in your backpack nicely. It's small, it's compact, it's quite nice to just sit in your bag. It's not going to take up much space. It's really good for on-the-go filming if you're vlogging. It's a great little selfie camera. It does good at keeping you in frame. I think this is a great little addition for anyone that wants a gimbal. Now, this is a year old at the moment, and there might be some fixes with software and stuff that it does when it needs a software update. But ultimately, I think this is a pretty good one to get. I have this in my everyday carry most of the time, and I take it with me pretty much everywhere I go because, as we all know, the iPhone 15 Pro, even the iPhone 14 Pro before that, and any sort of main phone nowadays is pretty good at taking high quality video footage, and you can use it as B-roll, you can use it as A-roll, and it is really good at making high quality footage. So this comes with me everywhere now. It's been coming with me everywhere for the last 3 or 4 months, ever since I got it, and I recommend that you get one. So it does have a few issues with keeping track of people, spinning out, but overall is very, very good, and it's definitely worth considering. And talking about worth considering, we are very fast approaching 1,000 subs on this channel, and I would really appreciate if you could just hit that sub button if you like tech videos, tech reviews, and all the latest tech news that's coming out. So sub to the channel would be amazing. Thank you. But what do you think, team? Will you be getting one of these? Or are you happy with just getting a normal selfie stick? Let me know in the comments. But until then, see you next time.